Good afternoon. Welcome back to United TV. We're going to be doing another call-in show. We're going to be live until 7 p.m. So get involved quickly if you want to tune in and get your say. Well, I'll drop the link in about 5 minutes. But myself, we're going to be covering PSG 1, Manchester United 1, another big pre-season match, and another one where a few talking points, but we won't set the agenda. You can come on, have your say, let us know what you thought. Before we do that, though, what are you thinking about this match?
Well, it was a great game. I thought it's good. It's good for us to be playing against a good competitive team. I think Enrique done the kind of usual high line pressing, and we used inverted full back overloads, and I think that's the way Carrick's going to go. We saw the double pivot. I thought that's quite creative. Mount went off, which is a shame, but let's hope he comes back soon. You were saying with me on the WhatsApp, how many people had him getting injured on the bingo card. But that's one of those things. That's a talking point. Tielemans coming over, two lovely line breaking passes to Bruno. Looks like that relationship looks interesting. Shea Lacey getting better game per game. Euro getting some minutes. Heaven, I just love him. Maguire making sure Cavachelier was in his pocket twice. There's loads of stories, loads of battles being won, and Buma looking leaner every time I see him. Footwork getting even better, and that's 3 goals
He
now
looks
in two
good, doesn't he?
games. Yeah,
He looks good pre-season.
he looks fresh. Diallo getting an assist. Free plays around him, finding balls into the box, looking sharp. Mazarawi bringing some of his World Cup form in. Look, there's a lot of positives from that game. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to ask for people to call in. Look, we talk about Man United. We're going to try and make this a fast-paced chat show. Come in, have your say. Let's keep the tempo quick. We say with Man United, get the tempo quick. Let's try and bring some of that energy into this call-in show too.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say there's a lot of talking points. Mason Mount getting injured is going to be one of them in terms of like transfers. I think Mbeumo looking good, but also, do you remember when we did the preview and we said it's almost inevitable that he's going to be looking at experience plus youth in the centre back situation,
Yeah.
and we saw that with like Aiden Heaven and Yoro both kind of taking it in turns to play with Maguire. So I think there's a lot of things that a lot of predictability about Man United, but again, PSG have got a competitive game midweek. Like they're playing Aston Villa in the Super Cup, so this isn't like PSG need to be taking things seriously as well because I know whether we rate that competition or not, it's still a competition and it's still something they've got to be looking at. I just want to say a big thank you to United Side Die for renewing his membership with the channel. Big up to you. Thank you for supporting the channel. And for people watching as well, I dropped the link in the comments. If you want to come on, we're going to be live for like about an hour maximum today. And Danny B says we deserved a comfortable win. Again, you don't always get what you deserve, do you? Sometimes you've got to make sure you don't make silly mistakes during the match because that's what we see Man United do quite a lot in pre-season, give away cheap goals, and it's difficult to get a win. But I did think actually, I'll say this before I get colours on. I'll say it was quite reassuring to see Man United had quite a few more shots on goal, more shots on target, and the possession wasn't crazy considering PSG are an incredibly good team in possession. I think it was something like it might be like 55-45 sort of possession stats, but no, good to see Man United doing more with the ball when they do get possession and they do actually carry a significant threat, which is always good to see. But we'll get Coders on to have a say and see what your thoughts are.
Are we doing?
How you doing,
So yeah,
Curtis?
good. I'll move the banner so I mean you haven't got a camera on, but for people that come on with a camera so people can see each other. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Paris Saint-Germain versus Man United.
Well, I watched the whole game. I have to say, there's a worry that we seem to be slow when we start. That's 2 games in a row where we're giving away an early goal, which is basically just sloppy, but it's a bad habit that teams tend to pick up. Apart from that, I thought we played very well. Santos today, I've got to give him props. I thought he was very good. Uh, Again, Mbeumo up front, very good again. I suppose my issue with him is will he get the service? Because if you watch him last season, he was doing all the right things, making all the runs, but he wasn't getting the ball. They weren't passing to him, they were passing to Cunha or Sesko. So my worry is, will he get the service this season? But I've got to admit, he looks in incredible form, razor sharp. So, I mean, you can't really complain. It was a good game. You know, it is what it is, and you take the positives from it. Mount being injured, here we go again. You know, the last thing we need is somebody in midfield injured. So what are we doing in the transfer window?
Yeah, I think with Mbeumo, he was being found last season. He just went off his game, really, didn't he? February, March, April, he just wasn't tucking them away. But of course, he won't be playing as a forward. Hopefully, once Sesko's back, Sesko pinned in for the first game of the season. What did you think of Tielemans when he came on, and also how did you think Bruno looked?
Again, they look okay, but until you see them in a game, an actual competitive game, it's very hard to judge. I mean, until they're in the same team playing 90 minutes, you don't know what you're going to get. And at this moment in time, is Tielemans going to be the shoe-in replacement for Casemiro? In which case, then, you know, you're really going to have to see him play a full 90 minutes. I thought he would have played today more than what he did. So it's you know, almost impossible to judge on, you know, coming on for a specific period of time. He really needed to start, and then you get a better, you know, a better view of what he's going to be in the team.
Did you like what you saw? Sorry, Curtis. Did you like what you saw of him when he did come on?
Again, it's very hard to judge. He looked okay. It was neat and tidy, as was Bruno, as he always is. So you can't really say he was bad or good. He is what he is. He's a good player. He's very good with the ball. He's got a good set piece mind on him, and he's got a good shot. So, you know, we're going to get positives from that. But again, it's where does he play? If he's going to be in the Casemiro role, then, you know, what's he like for the tackles? Because I don't think he's that good when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, what may happen is you've got Mount Santos who can certainly do that. Santos certainly can hold up play, and he won all of his duels in the previous game. I think he was very good again, like you said today. You talked about positives. Who were your standout players in the match today?
Well, Lacey again, very good. Santos really did catch the eye. I mean, I've been very doubtful of him, but he was very good today. I mean, you've got to admit he really did look the part. Again, Mbeumo up front, very good. So we're okay. I think it's just a case of they're doing a sort of trial at the back to see who's going to be playing with Maguire. So you've got obviously Eden Heaven and Euro, you know, doing this sort of switch around. And I think that's probably where the problem is. We're conceding early goals. As I say, apart from that, it was a good enough game. They got a good run out, nice tempo. It looked very polished when, you know, they're playing. The passing was very good. None of that crap that we've seen where they couldn't pass the ball more than 3 moves without it breaking down. So they look sharper. It looks clean.
Just one final question, if I may, Curtis. Ahmad came in for a lot of slack last season, and rightly so. His form was awful. How did you think he performed today?
Who did you say?
Ahmad.
Well, Ahmad, I like Ahmad, but he is what he is right now. He's a young kid trying to find his place within the team. When he shines, he's electric, and he's basically Nobody's going to get near him when he's on his game. He's that good. And then he's got the drop-off where he's got the ball, but it just seems to run into the defenders, or he can't pick the pass. And you're sort of hoping this season it clicks for him, and he does find his place.
I'd love it to click for everyone, really, Curtis. I just really hope everyone lifts their game and gives us a really good season. And I think, so far the pre-season, bodes well. But I agree with you entirely. With some of the players, we need to see more in terms of more minutes, just to kind of get a greater sense. But I am liking what I'm seeing, and it's good to get another pre-season under our belt and minutes on the pitch for these players.
Yeah, as I say, that's all it is. It's minutes on the pitch, but you would like to see possibly what it would be like with a first team pick, what it's going to do, how it's going to shape the midfield, and then you would get a bit of perspective. As to say, it's very difficult because it seems to be that we're not buying anybody right now, but we're selling everybody. And you're sort of thinking...
we're not even managing to sell people, are we? That's the problem.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't mind so much, but it needles me the fact that it's August and there's a rush to sell players. Could they not have done that in June?
Yeah, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? Curtis, thank you for calling in. We did have Tyrone trying to connect backstage, so anybody watching, if you want to come in, please just click that link to join.
Thanks very much, guys.
No, you're more than welcome. We can only be live till 7 p.m. So if you're watching, just get involved. Just get involved, and whatever you want to talk about, it's your show today. Let us know. I go through a few of the comments as well. If people got comments and questions because you don't want to come on, again, that's absolutely fine. I think a few people saying that if we do a deal now, like Daz says, it's going to be a panic buy. Yeah, I mean, nobody goes into the transfer window planning to do a deal towards the end of August, too. So I think I don't even know what Man United's plan was. I think they planned to get Santos, but beyond that, it's difficult to say. Do you get the feeling as well, with the better, that this is kind of the first match where we got a few people coming back? Like we got Bruno Fernandes coming back, we got Mazraoui, Cunha would have been available, but maybe we're going to see in the next match we get pretty close to like a first team lineup. And maybe we're going to see Tielemans plus Santos then.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's that balance of getting the minutes in, not pushing them in too quickly, but also making sure that everyone in the team is raising their fitness. And in order to do that, you've got to bring players in and out of the game. Pre-season is exactly that. I just did want to make a point as well. It was very interesting first half. Mazraoui really kind of held his shape, and his shape was very central as a defensive line. But in the second half, both Dalot and Amas became inverted fullbacks, and Amas very regularly came along with the midfield and then midfield overloads there. So that was something that was really kind of nice to see. I really like Amas, and I really hope that we hold on to him, because I think that he's 19. He's not the finisher I call by a long shot, but develop that player. He's got some really good traits.
Yeah, we're going to get United Side Die legend in the comments, but we're going to get him in very, very shortly. But I just want to go for a few comments. And because you said get Vlahovic in, he's available as well. So that's a niche fan. Also, I think at this stage of the season, you have to get some players in, because Mason Mount, right, he might be back very soon, but he has to be. You have to get someone in that can play more games. Niche fan says we have to buy Alex Scott now. And I think a lot of people are thinking the same sort of thing, that we're going to be playing competitive football, not pre-season matches, and we're going to be playing like competitive matches twice a week as well. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. Only 2 weeks to go, says Gregory as well. So the fact that the transfer window is open a bit longer than that shouldn't really deter Man United from you need to be ready for pre-season. You need to be ready for the season, don't you? So it's just wasting time.
I have everything crossed this week that we get 2 signings in. I really do. I've got everything crossed, and I think it's not going to be a fullback just yet.
Do you know what I want to avoid? This is the last point I'll make, then we'll get the next caller in. I want to avoid a situation where people go, imagine if we got these signings a bit earlier, and if we drop points in the first couple of games because we've got like an injury issue. It's not going to be acceptable, is it? It's really like poor planning.
they're gambling on our first couple of fixtures. So they think, you know, we can possibly bypass those and get points with the team we have. And I kind of agree, but it's poor business. That we should have got our players in July. Really simple, you know, but they haven't done. So we are where we are. But yeah, let's hope they
Be up
move
to you,
quick.
Luca. I was going to say gambling. Like we gambled in January, we're gambling now. Maybe there's a reason why
Gamble
we
all the
got
time.
Betway because it's definitely
Okay.
linked.
Yeah, but we didn't get Tonali, you know, the ultimate gambler.
Maybe that was too much of a gamble. Maybe there's a limit. But United Side Die, how are you doing? I can't actually remember because my memory's like terrible now. But I can't remember if you joined the last call-in show or somebody else. Somebody else was a new caller last call-in show. But welcome and thanks for calling in.
Oh, hey guys, how's everyone doing today?
Oh, United die. Good to speak to you. I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing really well to be honest. I've been trying to stay not think about United too much at the minute because the transfer window is a bit like here and there. Um,
It's one way
just
to
been
stay
enjoying the
calm.
weather to be fair. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
The weather's been great, hasn't it? And the Man United news has been non-existent. I've been trying to find news. I've just done less streams because I can't. I can't. It's not that I can't be bothered, but I don't want to do the same thing where people in the comments are going, "Didn't we cover this yesterday?" And I'm thinking, "Yes, we did."
And the day before, and the day before, yeah. But I mean,
I know.
you know, they've been so shrewd in how they've kind of kept their cards close to the chest, and in some degree that's great. But for
The thing
creating
is, like,
channel
with the
content,
better, we'll,
not
we'll
so
let
good.
United Side I speak. But my worry is that we're keeping our cards close to our chest. My worry is there's not enough cards there. There's just not much.
There's no pack.
No, exactly. I think we're keeping a card close to our chest, and I'm thinking, right, I hope that's a realistic one. What do you think today, though? Like, I also say Mickey's comment as well. Every time I see someone posting on social media these days, they use the word hope. So I'm thinking we need to get a different word because everything seems to be revolved around hope. Like, I hope we get a new signing. I hope we get a left back. I hope Mason Mount can play 3 games in a row. Um, what are your thoughts, though? I know you're quite relaxed, but what are your thoughts on today's match? Like, did it give you any information or?
Um, this is typical United, right? We can show up against the biggest team ever, and we'll just smash them, or we'll draw against them and show at least some consistency against them. And I understand this is a friendly, right? So I'm not going to take too much from it. My main point today was to actually look at the youth players that we're playing, see if they're ready, because if we're not going to be able to get any more players in, which it seems like we might not, to be truthfully honest, and that's the worst case scenario. I'm looking at Lacey, I'm looking at Fletcher. It honestly pisses me off that Amas is being sold. Amas is literally a Luke Shaw regen. If you look at him, okay, he's a little bit better in terms of technicality with his feet, but he honestly, for 6 million, you might as well keep him and develop him.
Yeah,
I
entirely.
agree. Do you know what I was going to say? I'll say quickly about Mass. If you're going to sell him for 5 or 6 million, keep him because 5 or 6 million does nothing. But if you make a mistake at this stage of the season as well, you'd be better off loaning him out and selling him for maybe 2 or 3 times that amount in a year's time. I just want to say a big hello to Greg. I think Greg got involved in a stream like a week ago when Jules was hosting. But no, welcome to the channel, Greg. Quick question then, United Side I. Who's impressed you pre-season that could be from the academy coming through?
So Gore, it's unfortunate as well because he looks to be sold as well. Gore was one I was actually looking at. I thought he could really like come into the first team like Lacey. He was really impressed me in the first team. Fletcher, of course, as well. I think it was the both brothers have exceptional technique and able to spray the ball around. I think Lacey for me is the one that's 100% going to get a load more minutes in this team. He looks ready, and I hope we don't make this mistake where we just sit him on the bench, we don't play him, and then he gets sold off, and we're just back to square one again. Like we honestly need to start developing our youth and bringing them into the first team, not as the injury crisis issue where okay we're just going to throw on youth, but bring him into cup games and bring him into Champions League lesser team games and give him minutes. Because if you're not going to rely on the youth. That's what Barcelona have done for years. They have one of the best academies. Bournemouth now, I think they have tier 1 academies. They've been doing that too. We need to start doing that. If we are this broke, which we're not really, obviously, because they're trying to gaslight us into that, but use the youth. If they're such great youth players and they're so highly rated, use them. Rooney at 16 years old, he came into the team, absolutely smashed it. Macheda, even though he was a youngster at one point, he came into the team, got a goal. These minutes help to develop them and give them time. If you just keep loaning them off, we're telling you to Chelsea. It gets to the point where what is the point of our youth academy at the point? It's just there to make money. And we're not even good at selling them.
It's not even making money, is it? It's not even making money. Do you think, I do agree with you. I think Lacey looks like one of the closer players because he got a couple of opportunities last season and looked pretty promising. And I think as soon as it gets to cup games, give Lacey give him an opportunity. I don't know if they'd start him necessarily, but potentially you could give him like significant minutes in a couple of games. And I don't see the problem in doing that because, like you say, what's the point in keeping a player at the club and not giving him minutes? He's not going to develop. And then if you're going to loan him out, like Harry Mass got loaned out, had a good season in a difficult situation at Sheffield Wednesday, then what's the plan for him? So I can't think of many examples actually. Like the play you mentioned, Dangor, I think he's going to be going for like 1.2 million or something crazy, which is a bit ridiculous considering that's how much we pay for academy players that never play first team football. I'm just going to say, Grace, I mean, I don't know what to say, but I like your enthusiasm, Grace, for one of the not popular.
I mean, I discussed it. I said, yeah, and Dalot got a cross in the box. It's a collector's piece, Just going back to the two players. Also, Thwaites is another one that's also been penciled in to come in. Both him and JJ didn't travel today, but they were playing in behind the closed doors fixture, so they're still building up their senior fitness, as it were. I mean, I don't think JJ is going to get many minutes, but he will feature at some point in the season. But Thwaites is certainly one. But I agree with you entirely that whether we buy players or not, the core of this club has always been you develop your youngsters, you develop your academy players, and then and if they're not entirely good enough to beat Man United, you sell them at a good price. So it's a win-win either way. But at the moment, we're not doing neither. So yeah, I fully appreciate what you're saying.
The other thing is as well, though, that you don't find out if they're good enough unless they play for Man United. But I remember like people saying, look at you can list like any sort of players we talked about and say they look really good in X team in the Championship. Go right, bring them back to Man United. Let's see how they do. And it's because it's different. It's different, isn't it? Like you can go on loan and look exceptional, but coming back to Manchester United gives different pressures, but also different expectation, I think, from the fans. But what do you think about like the transfers then United side die? Because you've got Malp saying if the owners don't wake up, this club is going to rapidly decline. I'm not quite as negative as some people because I don't think under Michael Carrick, Man United are suddenly going to implode. But I do think in terms of trying to catch up the top two teams in the Premier League, you need to you definitely need to address the squad issue that is clearly not good enough at the moment.
So I think everyone knows my stance on Tielemans. I wanted him before he went to Villa. Very good player, very consistent player. He knows how to spray the ball forward. I know Cake was saying that he's not where we're going to get progressive passes from. Who's going to push the ball forward? That's what Tielemans excels in.
Exactly,
He did it today.
Lovely with Bruno. Did you know a couple of times today? It was great. Line breaking passes, found him on the right twice, and Bruno, got two shots away, one barely missing the post.
Yeah, exactly. And I know Al Mack has been saying about we should just be buying youth players. I kind of agree with him to a certain extent. Now we need a mix, right? We need experience. So this Tielemans deal, I don't have an issue with it. The only issue I have with it is that it's a 5-year deal. I'm not sure why it needed to be 5 years. It's strange to me. He's 29. We're gonna have to replace him, or he'll be a rotation option in years to come, right?
It's Glazer's amortization logic, I think.
Yeah. I totally understand the whole amortization, but the thing is, I just don't understand the deal. Like, we could have got him for 3 years ago. It just doesn't make any sense to me,
And a 4+1 may have made more sense. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
No, yeah. 4+1. Just because we're gonna have to reinvest again anyway. And the problem I have now is Santos. He's a prospect. I don't know what's gonna happen with him really. I can look at him now in preseason and be like, okay, yeah, great. He's done well. Don't get me wrong. He's done well. I'm not gonna, I was against the deal, but He's done well. The issue I have with Santos now is that he wasn't playing regular first team minutes for Chelsea. Strasbourg is a whole different ballgame to Man United. Man United is on a whole different spectrum when it comes to pressure, what's expected of you, what needs to be done. If he can replicate his stats from what he did at Strasbourg at United, he will do phenomenally well. 100%. I can see the whole Tchouameni aspect of him with his statistics, and it makes sense. 50 million, I think we paid slightly over for it, but it was at a time where they needed to make a deal. So fair play, 50 million. Okay, that's fine. I've always been a staunch supporter of no marquee signing. You go in and you build a team with depth first, and then you get your luxury signings on top. And that's because if you look at Spurs right now, they splashed out on Fernandes, Tonali, all these people, these high money signings. Liverpool did the same. Where did that get them? You need to actually have this team galvanized together with chemistry and adhering to the United way. It doesn't have to be counter-attack football. It can be, a transitional pivot. It can be whatever it needs to be. We need to start building depth. For years, we have been complaining about depth, and we need to stop getting in players. This season, we needed 6 to 7 players, and they have only gotten Dalot, Santos, and Tielemans. I'm not even counting Tynun, and all the youth players, because we already have loaded academies. If Tynun gets to play loads of minutes this season, fair play. And he turns into heaven, fair play. No problem, that's another player. But we need first team quality players who are ready to take on this season. In Champions League and Cup games, and now, if we play a PSG, we play a Liverpool, we play a Man City, we play an Arsenal, we play a Bournemouth, a Brighton, this and that, right? All very difficult teams. Then you have to go into Champions League where your team is already tired because we play loads of football, and then we have cup games. And then in cup games, all we're doing is throwing on youth players because we have no depth at all. This is something Ineos are forward for because they should be investing. This is one of the most pivotal midfield rebuilds we've had in years. Since before Casemiro came in, we have not had proper investment since Fred. And Ugarte was the only one. Ugarte and Casemiro. So Ineos have to they actually have to do something now. There is no more waiting 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. You need to actually rebuild. If you're not going to rebuild, get out. That's all I have to say.
It's fair. It's a fair point. Now I think you echo a sentiment of a lot of this community, and indeed probably most Man United communities on YouTube and in terms of fans across the world. Investment has been poor, development has been poor. I go as far as saying, we haven't had a proper midfield since Carrick. I think that's the last.
No, I was going to say as well, is better. But I think when I do a stream, and the stream might be Man United have signed Tielemans, or Man United have signed Santos, or say Aiden Heaven, Dorgu, recent ones. There's nothing wrong with some of the signings we made that are younger signings for the future, like say Aiden Heaven. But I think United Hadar is right that you need players that are like Mbeumo Cunha ready, and someone like Tielemans could walk straight into the first team and be a Premier League reliable midfielder. I think the difference is going to be for fans. It's going to be these players are good, but we saw what Chelsea did when Chelsea signed nothing but youth. Then you're always kind of it feels a bit like Arsenal before they won the title. You're always kind of going, oh, next year will be our year. And it always seems to be that you're kicking the can down the road. And I think that's why when we started looking at Elliot Anderson, Bawardi, Tchouameni, okay, maybe not realistic, some of those, but Tonali maybe, Matheus Fernandes possibly, Alex Scott. You start looking at these players and going, yeah, get some of those players in. Suddenly things change and expectations get raised. And I think when we started signing Tielemans, no one was going, oh, Tielemans the worst signing ever. But we were looking at going, right, who's going to be the next one? And then when you start looking at left back situation, thinking, yeah, and I have to be careful because when I start looking at everything Man United has been doing as a football club, it starts making me get close to rant. And I'm not a ranter on social media, but I do get the feeling that lots of people are genuinely frustrated because it seems like Ineos are always trying to go, don't worry, guys. Do you remember when Jim Ratcliffe said we're going to be the most profitable club in 2030? And Man United fans are thinking, it's 2025, 2026. Are we going to have 4 years of scrimping and saving despite having record turnover? It's just not acceptable, is it?
Yeah.
Can I just read this? I just need to read the super chat. Big thanks to Grace for the super chat. But if Carrick loses to Amorim, okay, I mean, that is a bit of a grudge match for a few football players and a few fans, possibly. Okay, he needs to be sacked, right? Well, I disagree he needs to be sacked, but I will say Ruben Amorim lost 3-0 to Chelsea, so the chances of us losing are hopefully not high. We need a left back, third midfielder, another attacker, and say, I mean, is Dalot actually vice captain? I read something about Dalot. He's probably a higher status than you'd like to see. We deserve better, isn't he?
So Grace has had a lovely hotspot for Dalot for many years. So I entirely understand what she's saying there. Look, look, if he loses to Amrin, to me it makes not a blind bit of difference. You know, I think what Carrick needs is the tools to be able to do his job properly, like we all would if we went into a new role. And you don't want to be cut off at the knees before you start. So just encompassing everything we've said, we need to get the players in. It's really simple. Get the players in, give them the tools. We do need a left back, we do need a third midfielder, and we need a striker to rotate along Sesko. Look, Sesko's out at the moment, and we're having to rely on Mbumo. So, you know, we're fortunate, but that's not the way to move forward. You don't win leagues that way, or even get into a title challenge, and you certainly don't do that in the Champions League either.
I was thinking,
yeah.
like in response to this comment, I was thinking, like AC Milan, okay, pre-season's not going great for them. Bring AC Milan on in the Champions League when Man United have had like a decent amount of the Premier League. Let's play AC Milan in a competitive environment, because I think that would be, from my perspective, a brilliant game. I think some of the games we got pre-season, if they were competitive, I think they'd be great games, like Paris Saint-Germain in a competitive environment, AC Milan with like say qualification from the group stage on the line versus AC Milan. That would be, for me, a perfect game with everything on the line. Before we get, I'll post a link. There's no one else backstage if anyone wants to join. Have you got any other final questions you want to, or points you want to raise, United Till I Die? I mean, for people that are watching as well, United Till I Die, you recognise him from the comments. So please, like, also jump on if you want to. We're live for like another just over 20 minutes.
I just want to preface that if we actually look at what's happening at United now, a lot of people have actually mentioned it. It's when Arsenal was starting to build their stadium, and same thing as Spurs as well. If we take Spurs, for example, look what Levy did. He reduced the wage bill like crazy. Spurs had one of the lowest wage bills out of the top 6 for years on end. Then they built the stadium, and then they started having the concerts and, you know, the NFL deals and things like that. And this is now Spurs fans today who are actually berating Levy are the ones that are saying, okay, we're in a better position now because of him, so they can go and splash all that money. We are at that beginning stage now. We don't even have a stadium at this moment in time to generate us revenue, and they're talking about, you know, they want to get outside, you know, capital for this stadium to be built, but that's going to take a while as well. The stadium
with this, then, do you think the owners need to be a bit more honest with Man United fans? So when we see media saying we're going to be going for, say, what was it they said, like marquee signings and these players that we got the money for, and Buemo, no, so we got the money for Semenyo in January. These kind of things don't help, because if you get told like we can't afford this player because we're spending on this or something, maybe Man United fans might go, okay, right, we don't like it, but it makes sense a little bit, I suppose.
I'm just going to quickly say, Spurs possibly is a red herring in this regard. They finished 17th twice. The reason why they're spending money now is because they've got the 85 plus the 30%. They can spend 105% of their 600 million revenue. And so, you know, somewhere along the line, they've got to pay that back. And unless they start getting successful on the pitch, that's going to come back and bite them. I don't want Man United following that model. I really don't. But I understand your comparison, and I know that's not what you're saying. But, you know, it's a really slippery slope. You know, Spurs have never been Man United. And so what we need to do is get the football right. We really do. And the stadium is, to me, it's a sideshow. You know, it's a sideshow. I would quite happily stay.
Do you know what I'd say as well? But if we're going to be, I'm a Man United fan. I'm not an accountant, but I feel like I need to be an accountant a little bit to do some streams. Do you get the feeling that if Manchester United invested purely in the first team, and their aim was like, let's get the first team, trying to win the Premier League if possible, etc., then that brings forth like much financial power, doesn't it? In terms of like Champions League participation every single season. It's not exciting, but if you're in the Champions League every single year, you're basically printing money these days. And then that will have a knock-on effect that you can get better players, and then the money will come in. Like Man United seems to be incredibly good at getting sponsorship deals in. I'm no doubt they can get some sponsorship for the stadium. I did see one comment in social media earlier today and said, "Are Man United delaying everything until the Amazon documentary starts?" And I was thinking, well, are they trying to literally script this like a cliffhanger type thing? And to be honest, I really hope not. Big up to Modern Samurai. Hope you're doing well, my friend. He says, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. Also, big up to Andy, who is like, I think Andy's like one of the more optimistic Man United fans. I mean, I try to be, but I think because I do too many streams, I spend too much time looking for information. It makes me annoyed because I just read a lot of social media comments.
We can all go down rabbit holes with Man United. Is the truth of it, and it's like United till I die. It says, and I know you do, Rich, as well. You know, we take our mind off Man United as often as we can, and look at the bigger picture in life. You know, because if everything you faced or central facing was Man United, you wouldn't get out of bed. It's a shambles at times.
So the thing is, though, despite the negativity, the results have been largely good. Like, I know we're only talking about pre-season, but we're not losing games. Like, you know, we stood toe to toe with PSG. People can argue about stages of the season, but we won against Atletico and we looked the best team. And maybe we beat AC Milan next game and we go into the pre-season the next season. I think that we're probably all looking long term, aren't we? We're probably looking at like, when do we win the league? This sort of thing.
And just on this United, do you? Because what I sensed from Tielemans today and Bruno was there was complete respect for each other on that pitch, and therefore the fluid. I think the football was there, and I think Tielemans takes a lot of pressure off Bruno, allows him to play his game better. Santos has just been brilliant. I mean, that guy has elite ball recoveries, so he's going to be phenomenal for us. I'm quite, I know we've only made 2 signings, but when I just look at those 2 signings, I think they've done well. It doesn't justify anything else that we've discussed. But how do you feel about those 2 players?
As I said, I've wanted Tielemans for a while. He's the same as like Ericsson before he went to Spurs. He's a very similar player like that. I wanted him before. And I feel like he elevates our squad. But as you know, when Rich was talking about the owners, right? I think Ineos have bitten off too much than they can chew. They don't really have a plan here. And it's very evident in this window that they didn't, because they didn't even understand that there was going to be price rising. And you can talk about rebuilds, but rebuilds you really have to go from the front foot onwards, and we have to have the finance behind it to back up what we're doing. So having Tielemans is great, don't get me wrong. Having Santos is great, but if you don't have the depth to back them up in multiple games, if certain players get injured, then they're going to be overly played, and they're going to then, if they get injured, then what happens then? Because we only have 1 striker, Sesko, and Mbeumo's not a natural striker. Xerxes looks like he's staying, to be truthfully honest, because he can play a 10 shadow strike, and he's a cheaper option than sending him off on loan to Juventus. Hopefully they get someone in, but who exactly? Because they're not willing to spend money. So Welbeck would have been perfect, but I think a couple of people said Welbeck would have been a great addition, and he's gone to Chelsea now.
So in your view, just to interject quickly, so in your view, what are realistic options that you could see us getting to fill in some of those vacancies that you're referring to?
Honestly, we're coming up to 3 weeks now and like 2 days left of the window. Prices are going to rise exponentially now. The other teams have to get their own players in to replace. I would honestly say they'll look at Hall again. They'll probably look doing it right now, trying to see if they can tinker with the Hall deal, and they'll probably just float to Robinson after that. They'll get him in, and then they'll look, because my targets were Sangare, Kone, Agume, these players, like you were saying as well, we deserve better, right? And Ian was as well. But it doesn't seem the Kone deal's gone absolute dead. Nothing there whatsoever. He doesn't seem like he's going to be moving per se. Sangare has already gone to Brentford for 39 million, one of the best midfielders coming out of the French league, gone for 39 million to Mr. B's team.
I think it's actually more than 42.5 million. They've not disclosed it. BBC Sport tried to kind of throw that figure about, but they've said it's more than they've paid. So it's the highest paid highest transfer they've made, and the previous was 42.5, so it should be.
Yeah, I think
more
people were
than that.
guessing
But
like 45. They've also
Yeah.
bought Diamonde from Sporting, haven't they? So we can watch Brentford and see whether these players would have been good signings for us. Because I think that there's definitely a few people that were talking about him, like more than a few people. Loads of people were saying it's a good option. Modern Samurai says people forget the ownership knows the fan base is captured. I mean, there is a frustration about how much you can do. It says they're going to do whatever benefits them, not what benefits the fans. I mean, the thing is also, if like when the Glazers are in charge, fully in charge, they can take money out of the club. Ineos aren't taking money out, are they? But I think people are questioning what their motives are. Do you think that their motives are to take money out in the future, or if they get full control of the club, I guess they can do what they want. But I don't know.
I think the whole preface of the whole idea is that they build a stadium, they build a village. There's more money in that for them long term. It's separate from Man United in that regard, so it's more money for them straight into their pockets. And Man United is just the kind of the cow that keeps on giving, and they'll fleece it, but they'll utilise Manchester United to benefit and all the other investment that they're going to make solely for themselves. And I think that's the big problem here. And I think that's why funds are kind of shifting over here, or the view is shifting over here, and the urgency over here has gone away. They've been doing it for over 20 years. You know, it's just a new mechanism they're using now to make more money. And I don't know if the fans are captured. I think there will come a breaking point. I think we're not quite there yet. I think there will come a breaking point, and I think when that breaking point comes, I think things will change. I think legislation may also change. You've got a new PM who's based in Manchester, so there's a lot of insight there. I think things can move quickly on that. It's just whether how far do these guys take it? They're taking us to the brink, but if they take us any further, I think movements happen.
Yeah, got any final points you want to make, United I? We'll put a link in the comments if anyone wants to come on for the remainder of the show. I'll just go for a few comments. Tommy says he's happy with pre-season, more steps forward, more coming, and a lot of players leaving the club. I think that it's one thing players leaving the club. It does make you think, right, we need to get some replacements in. Grace would love a Gume, proper anchor in midfield. Maybe there's going to be a surprise. I don't want to talk it up and say there would be. Modern Samurai says we could get PSG side to come and play for Man United and people would still complain. Yeah, to be honest, I did say at the start of the transfer window, it doesn't matter who Man United signs, someone won't be happy. And in the end, no one expected the signings we got. So I think people were surprised before they got angry. They were like, what's going on? And
I just have a quick question for United Till I Die. Do you take any solace from the fact that we still have the likes of a Wharton, a Camavinga, a Belieber, a Buadi, a Scott still available? Do you take any solace from that, or do you really think that these guys aren't going to be touching any of those players?
Honestly, again, as I said, we're coming up to 3 weeks towards the end of the window. Those prices are going to escalate like crazy now. I wanted Buadi 2 seasons ago when he was like, I think he was like 40, 50 million or something like that. Wharton, I'm not sure why we haven't actually touched him. Out of the 3, if you looked at Anderson, Wharton is a very progressive passer. He'd work in that midfield. I'm not sure why he hasn't been looked at by this board at all. Or maybe they have, and they've just thought, it's too much money. Maybe it's 100 million that do not ask for, or something of that nature. Even with any player now, their prices are going to increase by 10, 20 million. So I don't see them really going for the big signings anymore. I think they've just made their bed. They could have done it like the whole. Sorry.
Do you think with those 5 players still available and not moving, that maybe that doesn't push the price up so high? If it was just 1 or 2 players left and all of those other players had moved, maybe that fluctuates the market. Do you think that's also a possibility?
I mean, it can be a possibility, if there's no one really in for that player, no one really wants to go in. Like Kone, for example, not many are actually in for him, really, to be truthfully honest, because that's why Roma want to balance the books.
Too.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand with this market. I think the Elliot Anderson deal, and a lot of the deals like Diamonde going as well now, they've inflated the market to the point where even if, like, basically like what Brighton have done with Belieber, they'll just keep the player. They'll keep him. They'll keep him from the window, try and fleece him off for another 100 million for the next window or whatever it is, and that's the cycle that's going to happen now. It's very rare you're going to see deals where it goes backwards. Like unless you get someone like a Tielemans who's 29, or you go in for like Robinson who's what is he, 28? You go for these older players, and then only then would you really recoup any sort of benefit for them per se. If I was to go into the market now, I would, even me as a football manager player, I'll be confused who to even go for now, because if they're going to ask for 100 million for Wharton and not willing to actually decrease the price, it's a Belieber situation all over again. And then the only one you can really see, like, Tyler Dibling, he was quoted at 100 million by Southampton. It was like 80.
Yeah, that's the one I used for, because that was a ridiculous price, wasn't it? And I was looking at that thinking there was no way he'd be 100 million. But I think all the other deals, Elliot Anderson had proved himself one of the best players in the Premier League. He was going to cost a lot of money. Tonali was going to cost a lot of money. It's a different situation, isn't it? A team that comes up, gets relegated badly, they are going to sell some of their players, and they were never going to get 100 million. But I think it's some of the deals now. I think it's just showing that a lot of the clubs in the Premier League have all got money. They're going to charge a lot of money for players, and we're just seeing that happen like time and time again. And they're not going to get cheaper. When we cover transfers on this channel, I think going back to Red Devil United last year, I think the first time we talked about Ekitike, we talked about 100 million euro price tag. He went for more than that. And every other price tag we've mentioned has been pretty much accurate. Like, and everybody, the first reaction is, that's ridiculous. And then a month later, he goes for that price. So it's crazy. United Till I Die, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We're going to get Jules on, but please join the next call. We will do another calling show. I'm not sure if I can do one tomorrow night. If I do, it might be a bit later than normal. But if I do one, it might be a transfer moan. So feel free to jump on that one. Otherwise, we will do something after the AC Milan game. The Ruben Amorim derby, we'll look forward to that one.
Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. Big up Rich, big up big up everyone in the chat. Like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks for listening to me waffle about random-ish, you know what I mean? That's about it.
It wasn't
That's
waffle.
all right. You
really
listen to me waffle plenty of times. Like plenty of times you listen to me waffle.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you, United Till I Die.
Soon.
Sometimes I look at it and think that I look at the news and think, what am I going to say today? And as soon as I click start, I just start trying not to rant with the better, because I get a bit frustrated with a lot of the news. I just want to see Man United just challenge for titles.
Win.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's all of us was, and that's where the frustration comes from. It's kind of like we just want to see manoeuvres happening to help us get to that place again, and and getting players in is certainly part of that. So let's hope they do something.
No, it's frustrating, isn't it? Because I'm not an angry person. I'm not going to I'm not thinking, oh great, I can rant about something not happening. I'm just looking at thinking, oh, what is going on? Big up to you, Matty. Thank you for the super chat, Matty. Absolute legend.
We're
going to get Jules on. Pardon?
Sorry, we've got Leeds midweek, haven't we, as well?
Oh, Leeds. Yeah. Do you know what? It's actually the games have got pre-season. I'm looking forward to each one because I want to beat Leeds, because obviously we hate Leeds, and I think the AC Milan one is. Do you know what I'm looking forward to with AC Milan? It's not about Ruben Amorim. I just want to see which players really step up, because you know how when Man United play against certain teams, I'm just going to be genuinely interested to see if Koeman is available. He's going to be unbelievable, isn't he, against Ruben Amorim?
What about Rashford? Rashford as well.
I know. I was thinking Marcus Rashford's going to play like, I don't know, prime like Kvaratskhelia.
It'll benefit him though, because he might get his move. If he gets a hat trick, it'll be great for us and great for him. So who knows? Big up, Jules. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, so lovely to hear your voice.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's like the voice of the reason.
Yeah. I have to ask Jules quickly. How's the lad doing? How's the football going? He's gone quiet. Has he lost?
Evening, Neil, as well. Are you still there, Jules?
Does he know he's muted?
He hasn't hit the wall like Mason Mount earlier, has he?
He came in the stream. He was like, "I can't do this, not
No,
again."
no. Jules got a technical problem, but we'll get him in a second. I was thinking that when you like make expectations for the match, and I was thinking I sent you a message tonight during the game saying Mason Mount getting injured. Everybody had that on their bingo card because it was just
Yeah,
like how it's like it's not funny, but it's just like the sort of thing where you think I'm
so
literally
predictable.
1% surprised about this happening. It's just,
Yeah,
if anything, it's just more frustration than anything as well.
yeah. It's a shame
Now,
because he was
Jules is
really
like good. Jules is obviously like
scared him off. Yeah.
it's not scared off.
I do have that effect, Stephanie. I really do. But well, what can you do? It works. It
I
works on
managed to get a
Halloween,
few
though.
callers in though, so not everybody's been put off.
Yeah. Yes.
Yardi's saying, Yardi, this is good stalking. He says Mason Mount's walking normally to the bus, doesn't look injured.
Oh, is he? So
Now,
he could have gone tabby then.
hopefully it's precautionary. I mean, it's pre-season, so it could be precautionary. But I think the take-home message for me was always like, if you think Mason Mount's going to play 50 games, then I'll start a book
Yeah.
and start giving you some odds on things, and money can change hands.
Yeah. Exactly. I need
Hi,
it.
Rich. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Hi,
fine,
Jules.
Jules. We can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was
Only joking, Yoli.
had a bit of a Mason Mount there.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Did you
let's
hear
hope-
us? Like,
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
let's
I
hope
could hear.
like
I could
he
hear bits and
returns
pieces.
quickly.
well, also, didn't Tom Heaton go off with a hamstring injury? And I was thinking he probably
did,
shouldn't be
yeah.
playing football at his age. Like the fact,
Unfortunately. Why don't they just pay Vitek? Is it just because they're concerned, with the deal?
I've
Is
no
that what it
idea.
is?
I've no idea. It seems weird that Tom Heaton basically plays 2 games in pre-season, then he does nothing for the rest of the year. Like, I'm not sure.
What was your take home from the game, Jules? How did you see it? What
Um,
stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been watching the pre-season friendly, so I didn't see the game today. I don't even know the score, to be honest. Was it 2-1?
1-1 in the end.
1-1. Okay. Yeah, I don't really pay too much attention to like results in pre-season. I think it's more, getting minutes into the legs, seeing players come back from international duty, etc., and getting them reintegrated. But the main thing I wanted to talk about was the direction of the transfer dealings this summer, really, because there seems to be a discrepancy between the data-driven approach, which it seems to me that they're doing their due diligence on players, but it's taking longer to get these deals in and over the line. But with the club supposedly wanting to win the Premier League by 2028, it seems a direct conflict between getting the transfer deals done and spending time researching all these players, because the fact that it's only 2 senior players so far, and then 3 if you count Dalot. I think we just need a lot more doing in this window. I think we need at least another 2, if not 3, first team players, really.
No, I hear it, and I think that all of us are really frustrated at how slow they've been, and it's been something they've done. We were saying it on a previous stream. Normally, their third signing happens between the 9th and the 13th of August, and that's next week. And that's been Ineos for the last 2 summers, and they haven't changed. They haven't seen the urgency required. They haven't understood, or it appears that they haven't understood how important pre-season is, and also the fact that it takes these players 3 to 4 weeks to really get into their rhythm in a new club with new teammates, coming off a summer break, some of which may have been involved in World Cups. So it's just, that's the thing that really concerns me. These are sports people who are businessmen, but know the sports arena, know what it's like to run a football club. It's not their first outing. They know what it's like to be involved in other sports, so they understand all that, Jules. You and I understand it, and we're laymen. Well, you're not. I think you've probably got a bit more experience than me in that regard. But it just does not make it doesn't make any footballing sense, and it doesn't make any business sense, because you're going to spend the money at some point.
Yeah, it's like it's almost a false economy. Tielemans, I think my take on Tielemans is I think we were in for Edison, and then I think Tielemans just became available. So I don't even think Tielemans was really part of this summer's plan.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, hence I think we made up an excuse on the Edison deal to get out of that one. But no problem as such, because if you think Tielemans is a better player, then I've no problem with changing the plan when new information comes to light. But I'm very concerned about the lack of backup striker. So I think I've put in the comments earlier. I think I'm concerned about Sesko. He seems to be brittle. I think this is going to be the second season where he's going to be integrated probably towards the end of the first month of the Premier League. If he's got a knock at the minute, he's not going to be match fit until at least 2 or 3 games into the season. And it just seems to be like a rinse and repeat cycle, really. At the beginning of each season, we're not fully prepared. The squad isn't fully prepared until probably the first international break.
I agree. It's a bit frustrating, isn't it? Do you say your son wanted to have a say, Jules? Like, 'cause if you want to get him on, we'll live for like a few more minutes. If you want to get him on your mic.
Yeah, I can pass him over. He's a bit shy, but I'll pass him over now.
Right, we'll do some like grassroots fan here, because I think when I grew up, I was lucky that when I was in high school, Man United suddenly went from being like a team which I was getting bantered by Spurs fans at one point because we hadn't won the league for like 26 years, to a team that monopolised everything. And I'm thinking now, it must be weird being a Man United fan looking at every other team. And I grew up with like hating Liverpool fans because Liverpool won everything. And I guess it's probably the same with Man City at the moment, isn't it? And the fact that Arsenal won a league title is still disappointing, really disappointing.
What's the chap's name? Who are we speaking with?
I'll pass him over now.
Jules Jr.
Hey,
Jules Jr.
Jules Jr.
How are you? Jules Jr.
Talking on transfers, I think squad depth is the problem at the fullbacks.
Yeah, agree. What would you like to see happen?
I mean, I've seen that Lewis Hall's back on, so I wouldn't mind signing him, but he might not be the cheapest.
Do you care about the price? Because I've said a few times, if he's the best option and you can have him for 10 years, I don't really care about the price. I mean, we're not paying for it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something ridiculous like 80 million, then I think there's surely got to be more options.
That's very sensible. I like that. What's your ceiling? What's the most you would want us to pay for Lewis Hall?
Probably about, I would say, 65 to 70 million is probably the most that you'd pay for a left back.
This man knows what he's talking about.
I think Cucurella was about 60, wasn't he? About 4 years ago, wasn't Cucurella about 60?
Yeah, I think we like to overpay for players.
Yes, I agree.
A lot.
People in the comments, Solly says, you know your stuff. I think no one's going to disagree with you that we need to get a new left back. Do you like any of the options, like who is the other ones that have been talked about? Truffert or Robinson would be obviously a bit older, but maybe like 30, 35 million. And I think there was another one I saw. There's a guy that plays for the Spanish team that's available for 30 million, but doesn't seem like it. Seems a bit of a gamble. But any cheaper options you like? Yeah, that's the one.
21-year-old.
That's the guy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, what do you reckon about the cheaper options?
I think Robinson, like you said, was a good option. I do like him. He's got he's got good leadership. So yeah, I like him when he plays for Fulham, because he's just a no nonsense defender. He's quite good.
I like that. We need.
What do you think about Sander Berg? Because I think your dad likes Sander Berg based on a few comments recently, and I was thinking, are we going to be raiding Fulham? Because if we do, then that might be. I don't know. It's probably going to be. I'll do the stream, and people will think I'm rage baiting because it's not going to be the most exciting. But what do you think?
I think Sunderberg's a good option. He'll be like hopefully be a bit of like a Casemiro in the box. He's tall, so I mean he can win headers, obviously, and he can score them. So yeah.
And
If you can score at Casemiro, it'd be. Take said I do rage bait. I don't do rage bait. Do you know what? I got accused of doing like what's the word? Do you remember when Edison deal was off? And I did a stream where I said, is the Edison deal is he gonna fail his medical? And someone in the comments said, this is just clickbait. And literally halfway through the stream, the medical was cancelled, and they said like, no, we're not signing him. I think people just look, Cake, you're just looking for something to get angry about.
Just quickly, Jules Jr. So Alex Scott, Belieber, Tuamini, Camavinga, and Buwadi. If you could have any of those, and Kone and Sanderberg, if you could have any of those as our third.
There's a lot of options, isn't there?
If you can remember any of those, yeah. Who would you love at the club?
Oh, I think that's difficult because they're all really good players, but I think I'd probably resist on Manu Kone because I don't think he'd just work well with Mainu. They're kind of the same players. So
I agree with you.
I just don't think it'd work. Sunderberg I like, but out of all of those options, I'd probably either say Camavinga because he doesn't get much game time at Real Madrid, so he would probably be open to leave, and he covers left back as well. So yeah, but if I had to choose, I'd probably just choose Tchouaméni if he wasn't so expensive.
A lad after my own heart. It's yeah, we're all the same. So many of us would love Tchouaméni to come to us. I just think he's such a prolific footballer. Let's hope that something happens along the lines where Rodri does turn up there and they get into another squall in the dressing room and Tchouaméni comes over and said, right, I've had enough. Possibly. No, I agree with you entirely. And just one final question, because I've got a script in a mo. We need possibly to rotate our striker. Who would you like to come in to rotate alongside Sesko?
I would say probably Endrick. I like the look of him. I think he is going to go on a loan if we did get him, but we could sign him after the loan spell. But yeah, I like he's quite versatile as well. He can cover the wings, so I do like the look of him.
Okay, and one final question now.
I'd ask a question as well, because I just want to get your quick answer. What's your prediction for Man United next season in terms of like where you think we'll finish?
First place, obviously.
Yes, I like it. I have one.
Where are the people in the chat that said we're going to be mid-table?
Rich is looking for a co-host. What's your availability like?
We need some optimistic people. I mean, I've tried to find them for about 2 years. And we deserve bet was the most optimistic I could find, but he's been worn down now.
You've been brilliant. It's such a great call. Such a great call.
I started off as an optimistic fan years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll turn into us in 50 years' time. Well, not 50 for Rich, of course.
Do you know what the problem is? Like, the problem is that we saw Man United win everything, and then now we've seen them kind of hit rock bottom when they finished 15th. Now we're just thinking we have no idea what's going to happen. But no, Jules Jr., it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and obviously Jules Sr. as well. Obviously good to get you on as well.
Yeah. It's been a privilege. It really has. So lovely, so refreshing, so great to speak to you. Love the energy, love the knowledge, and I love the enthusiasm too. Make sure you please do call in again. You know, we'd love to discuss football more with you.
I'll just say, Jules Jr. is next to his dad. His dad is actually there.
Yeah, thanks, Rich, and we deserve better. Hopefully, yeah, you got good insight into Jules Jr.'s thoughts on United, but less of the senior for me. I'm not so senior, just like average. Jules average.
You just have the odd senior moment, right?
There is no other term for that, unfortunately.
Middle-aged.
Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, you're Jules Sr at the moment for posting the stream.
Yeah.
But we're gonna head off. I'm sorry, Bilal. We're wrapping up on about an hour. This is like the quickest we managed to do a call-in show. So thanks people that joined in, called in, and ways are better. Thank you for like doing lots of questions and not interrogating, sensible questions. We're not that. We're a friendly stream, aren't we? So please, people, if you missed the stream, we will do another call-in show. If you want to click on the Discord link, social link in the channel, then we will try and advertise one. I might try and do one tomorrow night, but there will be definitely one after the next match. But thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody that's been also supporting the channel. Super chats are very appreciated, and people that are members, really thanks for that as well. And I'll just say, look forward to the matches, Daz. You might be surprised. You never know. You might be surprised.
Exactly.
Tomorrow
may never come. Just enjoy today. Just enjoy today. That's what I'd say.
Will I be back for more Rage Bait tomorrow, Rich? Well, to be honest, Cake, I get the feeling that I could present you with like a fantastic deal that Man United are doing, and you'd still be raged by it. But I think tomorrow I've got some people visiting, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to Rage Bait you tomorrow. But I will Rage Bait you on Monday if that works for you, Cake.
All right, lots of love, everyone.
But thanks for watching, guys. And we're only joking. There is no Rage Bait on this channel. Everybody's views are appreciated.